And you're still live here on News 90s on Joy 99.7 FM. Tonight, a bipartisan group of MPs and some MCEs are calling for calm as a land dispute involving the chiefs of Futu and Gomwa continues to deteriorate. Now, there has been counter-accusations of encroachment of land between the two traditional authorities in the central region. As the tensions between the two traditional authorities escalate, Deputy Majority Leader Alexander Fenyomaki, who is leading the group of political leaders, says no one will be allowed to take any land that rightfully belongs to any traditional authority.
As representatives of our constituents and advocate for peace and stability, we stand united in our unwavering commitment to resolving this issue and safeguarding the ancestral land of all chiefs within our jurisdiction. At a joint meeting held yesterday, attended by all of us here present, we carefully considered the concerns surrounding the aforementioned land dispute and recognized the necessity for proactive measures to address the challenges at hand. To ensure a fair and comprehensive resolution, we emphasize the importance of engaging with all relevant chiefs and opinion leaders, fostering an environment of constructive dialogue and mutual understanding. Throughout this process, we remain dedicated to conducting ourselves with the highest level of integrity, treating all parties involved or affected with fairness and respect. Acknowledging the significance of transparency and impartiality, we strive to protect rights and reputations of all individuals throughout the resolution process. Furthermore, and to urgently alleviate rising tensions and promote a peaceful environment, we acknowledge the importance of engaging with paramount chiefs, along with relevant government bodies such as the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources, Ministry of Local Government, and Ministry of Interior. By involving these stakeholders, we aim to comprehensively address administrative and traditional boundary issues, fostering a coordinated effort towards lasting solution. We will actively engage with other relevant stakeholders, including the Lands Commission, potential estate developers, and leaders of businesses within the affected areas.
Well, the members of parliament are now beginning to roll out an initiative to try and address this particular problem. I want to bring in my parliamentary correspondent, Kweku Asante, who joins us on the telephone line right now. So, Kweku, what is it that the MPs are proposing to do about this?
So, Evans, the MPs say that there is a need to be able to establish what exactly the boundaries are, what exactly the claims of the respective traditional authorities are. So, they are trying to put together a bipartisan committee and also a committee that will involve all the traditional areas within that enclave to be able to establish what exactly the situation is.
This issue transcends partisan affiliation, requiring a united approach from all political leaders. With this in mind, we intend to establish a bipartisan committee dedicated to thoroughly investigating the underlying concerns, ensuring an impartial and comprehensive approach to resolving the disputes. As political leaders, we hold the responsibility of preserving the cultural heritage and security of our communities. We assure the chiefs within our respective areas that we will utilize our influence and authority to protect their ancestral lands from any unjust encroachment. Our commitment to maintaining peace, unity, and the well-being of our constituents remains steadfast and paramount. In conclusion, ladies and gentlemen, our joint position is clear. No one, including ourselves or any other individual, will be used to take away the lands of any chief. I repeat, no one, including ourselves or any other individual, will be used to take away the lands of any chief. We are steadfast in our commitment to protecting their interests and preserving the rich heritage of our communities. We extend our assurances to the chiefs that they should remain calm and that we will utilize our influence, authority, and the appropriate government bodies to ensure that the ancestral lands are safeguarded from any unjust encroachment. Our dedication to maintaining peace, unity, and the well-being of our constituents remain sacrosanct and unwavering. Together, let us embark on this journey towards a just and equitable resolution. We call upon all stakeholders, community members, and citizens to join us in fostering an environment of peace, respect, and cooperation.
And Kweku, so who are these MPs coming together to form this bipartisan committee?
So, Evans, 4 of them, starting with who you just heard, Alexander Kwame Afenyo Martin, the MP for Efutu, and also the Deputy Majority Leader. We also have Nana Eya, MP Gomoa Central, and Deputy Minister for the Interior. Desmond Paytu is MP for Gomoa East, and Richard Jan Mensah, MP for Gomoa West. Those are the 4 MPs. But we also have 4 MCs who are also within that enclave signing on to this, and we're actually available at this news conference. Kojo Otu is DCE for Gomoa Central. Bismarck Inkum is DCE for Gomoa West. Alhaji Zubairu Kasim is MCE for Efutu, and Solomon Kwam is DCE for Gomoa East. Evans.
There's a real fear that if this is not dealt with immediately, it could degenerate into violence. What's really is the background to this?
Right, Evan. So there's been some huge tracts of land that border the Gomoa and Efutu areas, which has been in dispute for a number of years now. Both traditional authorities up north and those south are laying claim to that piece of land. And in fact, there are those who have alleged that there have been lands that have been pulled down. There have been land guards that have been available at the disposal of these two sides who have been used to terrorize each other. In fact, a search online shows that there have been multiple press conferences by both sides who have been trading accusations at each other. And these were traditional leaders and authorities that were ordinarily so close with each other that the expectation was that there would have been dialogue. But the dialogue have since failed, leading to this escalation of tensions. In fact, some information we've been able to pick is that the government had nationalized some of the lands over there, and that it is up to the government to have clearly demarcated the boundaries and also ensure that each side knows where exactly their boundaries extend up to. But the government has not been able to do this, allowing these traditional authorities to extend their tentacles and actually grab these lands. And so it's been a conflict brewing for a while now. And that's why these MPs are moving in and calling on government to also come in to ensure that there is some resolution.
I want to bring in right now, Kuku, thank you very much. I want to bring in right now lawyer Kwame Jan, who is a land law expert and also a law lecturer. Mr. Jan, thanks for your time here on Top Story. I'm pretty sure this is one of those sticking issues in this whole sector of land that you become so acquainted with. How serious is this particular threat that the MPs are now trying to deal with?
Evans, a very good evening to your cherished listeners. Yes, indeed, this is an age-old issue. In fact, it dates before I was born. And, I'm not a young man. I'm an old man. So something that predated my birth is an old matter. In the 60s, around 1961, the lands within 1 mile square radius of the Winneba roundabouts and all the lands in Winneba town were vested in the president. And the lands covered two lands controlled by Efutus, Agones, Gomoes, and Ewutu people. So Efutu, Agona, Gomoa, and Ewutu. It comprises of two lands as well as family lands, covering a large area like your reporter was talking about, as well as all the lands in the town of Winneba. These lands were vested in the president, which means that only the president or the authorized rep of the president, which is the Lands Commission, can make any allocations of these lands. So the lands were vested in the president because of disputes over who owns where. So boundary disputes led to the vesting of these lands in the president. Interestingly, and this is what we have had across the country, we had similar vestings around Nkoko because Obomin and the Tibia people were fighting. Up in the old Bron Ahafo, the current Ahafo region, and parts of the old Bron region, same situations of contests between different traditional authorities. So the lands were vested in the president, the management authority was taken over, but the ownership was not taken. So instead of finding a lasting solution to the reasons that led to the vesting, After the vestings, everybody went to sleep. So we have been sleeping on these Efutu, Ewutu, Agona, and Gomoa land issue from before I was born till today. I mean, how could we have slept for 60 years after the instrument that vested the lands in the president?
Well, the MPs are trying to do something about this, but I wonder, this is a group of politicians trying to fix an age-old problem. Is the solution led by politicians a right approach?
Evans, yes, it's good that at least they have spoken about it. But the honest truth is, I have been following the issues in that area for some time now. During the time we did the first land administration project, LAP 1, we did something called systematic land titling in that area. So we have a fair idea of these fights in that area. So why is it that it is now that they are talking about it?
But is the solution they're attempting to deploy an effective one?
The tensions in that area, Evans. Look, somewhere in December 2021, there was a court case relating to Fete and Fete Kakraba. There is a judge called Justice Abuadi Ebua in the High Court in Winneba. He gave judgment in respect of some large parcel of land at Fete Kakraba in favor of a family called Esel Amokwando royal family. There was an appeal against that decision to the Court of Appeal. And just May this year, the Court of Appeal delivered a judgment affirming the judgment of the High Court. So my worry is these matters are what we call sub judice. They are matters pending before the courts. And you know, even Parliament does not have power to vary the terms of a judgment between the parties.
Well, I'm grateful that you joined us with your thoughts on this matter, Lawyer Kwame Jan. If you live in that part of the central region and affected by this, I want to hear from you. 05511 You've just been listening there to Lawyer Kwame Jan, who's a law expert, is a land law expert and a law lecturer also. Still listening to News Night on Joy 99.7 FM.
With the submissions just made by the Honorable and the Apia Kubi that all the 275 are in support of the bill. Anybody who disagrees, be on your feet and I will recognize you.
Well, and no one dared to stand up and speak up against that bill. And tonight, the Speaker of Parliament, Aban Bagbin, has been criticized for his handling of the debate of the second reading of the Human Sexual Rights and Family Values Bill, which made it difficult for MPs who had concerns about the bill to put forward their opinions or dissenting views. The Constitutional and Legal Affairs Committee of Parliament had presented the report that has been adopted by Parliament for further consideration, even though 3 legal actions, including an injunction suit, has been filed against the process. Now, Director of Advocacy and Policy Engagement at the Center for Democratic Development, Dr. Kojo Pumpuni Asante, who's been speaking on the probe, expressed dissatisfaction about the intimidating posture that we saw in Parliament put forth by the Speaker and others.
I feel sad, particularly when even the proceedings in Parliament just recently in the second reading, I even felt sad the way we went about it. It was almost that if you dare say no, then, we're going to, get the public. Yeah, I mean, even statements like all 275 members of Parliament support this. Well, there were, I think, close to maybe 100 MPs in there, and I don't even know if a quorum was satisfied. But there was this eagerness, there was this yearning, this like, okay, the stage is set, and we need to get this thing done. But that's what I'm saying, it's missing the point.
Well, he argues that the bill is a non-starter and based on pure emotions.
This whole bill is a non-starter. It has been a non-starter for some of us, right from the beginning. Even the way the problem is presented is inconsistent, it's confusing, it rides on emotions. For a bill that seeks to basically imprison people for their sexual preferences and so on, right from that start, it then cascades into all manner of violations of the Constitution because the proponents of the bill are so committed to, in a way, let this behavior disappear from society by just imprisoning people, and somehow all those problems would have been solved.
So what's the view of the members of parliament themselves? Do they agree that the speaker was acting unfairly when he acted possibly in an intimidating manner? Listen to the ranking member of the Constitutional, Legal and Parliamentary Affairs Committee, Bernard Ahiafo, who is fighting off the claims, insisting the speaker did his best.
When we started the debate, the motion was moved by Honorable Bajira and was seconded by Honorable Ntim Fojo. Then chairman of the committee presented the report. Then I contributed to the report. And then Andy Appiah-Kubi also contributed to the report. And so far, 2 people from the majority side have spoken, 2 from the minority side has also spoken, and they are all speaking the same language. Then at that point, Speaker wants to find out whether there is somebody who may want to speak against, because you have a position at variance to what is on the floor. Such a person can be given a hearing so that he will also make his point. So asking whether there is anybody who is against the position that they are speaking against. What is the offense in this? We are in this room. 3 of us are in this room. 2 of you have spoken. You are towing the same line.
At least if we allow the process to run its natural course, then people can raise dissenting views. But if you impose on them that you need a dissenting view,
you are not.
And then it
you are
makes
not
it
imposing.
a bit intimidating.
Let's say if you are sitting in Parliament, 275, and 4 have spoken. In fact, that was not the only business before the House.
Okay.
So sometimes, by consensus, if 2 people here are speaking the same language, then the speaker will be able to get the sense of the House. So having realized the sense of the House, you are going to put a question. But at the point of putting the question, having regard to the nature of this particular bill, Speaker is not wrong asking, is there anybody
who has
a different view before putting the question? So how could this be an intimidation?
Well, the chairman of the committee, Kwame Nyumedu-Antwi, agrees that individuals and MPs in Parliament who had actually come with contrary views, opposing views, have been faced with stiff opposition.
I would not blame the Speaker, because as one of the things that Honorable Andy Appiah-Kubi said, he said that he was of the view that all members of Parliament will support this bill. And then the committee also presented a report that was unanimous. In the report, now what Dr. May has said, in the report, I read what those who support the bill have said. I also, those who didn't support the bill, their reasons. I adduced everything to the public. Then we came to unanimous decision that by consensus, this is what the committee is presenting. So based on that, the Speaker then said that, is there anybody, contrary to what had been said, that the committee thinks we are unanimous? And then the Honorable Andy Appiah-Kubi had also said that no member of Parliament was going to speak against it. He is giving the opportunity to...
But by saying that, by making such a comment, then how do you expect any other MP to come up and say anything against it? Because if you maintain from the very onset that nobody has anything against it, that's not an environment that is conducive for anyone raising a contrary view, is it?
It is not... I'll say it is not conducive because Now, any person that would want to be objective on the bill is attacked. The other time when we were reading the second reading, Honorable Aslausu said, amongst other things, that when we are talking about unnatural carnal knowledge, if there is a person who is a heterogeneous in society, but a person would want to use the wrong way if the person is having an affair with the wife, that is unnatural carnal knowledge. And right at the chamber, she was being attacked. So any the people that are for this wouldn't want to hear any contrary view.
Well, this process in Parliament is going ahead despite the pendency of 3 cases, one of them a direct application for an injunction. I want to bring in lawyer Samson Lada Yinini and colleague of mine here at Joy News. Samson, first of all, clarify for me, Parliament is going ahead. Anytime you ask the chairman of the Committee on Parliamentary Legal Affairs, he says, well, I'm not aware of any suit. I've not been served, but we know the 3 cases pending in court. Can Parliament proceed while these cases are pending?
Yes, to the extent that they say they have not been served, and if in fact they have not been served, then there is no any inhibition going forward. The point of law is that the suits themselves, without more, do not stay the hand of Parliament in proceeding to consider the bill. So if you took up a suit and you didn't ask for an injunction and you didn't serve an injunctive process, or you didn't procure an order of injunction, the House will be within its rights to proceed. But even if you have filed any such processes, you will need to demonstrate service. Until and unless it has come to their attention, they are entitled to go on. The fact that you and I are talking about it in the media is not service. This is not how anybody is served with a process in court.
And then we have the subject of how this is being treated on the floor. What's your take on the concerns that the Speaker and others, in fact, the Chairman just confirmed that if you dare alter a statement that is seen or construed as opposing the popular view, you are attacked?
Well, Evans, from the very onset, this is the attitude that the sponsors of the bill have taken, and they seek to, if you like, bastardize anybody who attempts to make any suggestion, even if it is for the good and the purpose of, as it were, fine-tuning the bill. So you have seen that even for the political divide, you dare not say anything that suggests that there is something that needs correction, even if it's a typo that you want to correct. You are careful, otherwise you could be said to be against the bill, and then the mob mentality that's been preached out there, you will suffer it. That's clearly what I saw the Speaker, do on that day when he announced that, if you have an opposition, get up and behead. But I expect that people should be bold and do what they believe in. If the process that is ongoing, there are things that are wrong, because that's how laws are made. You do the draft, and the reading processes are intended to make corrections, are intended to make deletions, and so on and so forth. But this mob attitude with which they are doing the bill, and you have people declare stance, and any opposition, any contrary view, they have absolutist, views. They are not thinking in any relative terms, and the whole society is also largely, in support of that kind of attitude. Very hypocritical, to say the least.
Samson, thank you very much. So live your news night is on Joy 99.7 FM. And later on, the South Municipal Assembly says the grassing of the Weija Kaswa Ridge will prevent perennial flooding of the Accra-Takoradi Highway. As it says, it cannot solve the problem alone.
too big that it goes beyond the assembly. Assembly doesn't have the resources to get those works done. We have fallen on some of these agencies to come and help us solve those problems.
Well, details as residents are angry about the seeming lack of action to immediately stop the problem in our latest episode in the Flash for Trauma series. Details after George is done with business. Hello, George. What do you have in the headlines?
Well, Evans, coming up in business, Citi expected to remain fairly stable this week following Bank of Ghana's decision to continue with the dollar support program for bulk oil distribution companies. We'll be getting you more details on that one, as well as hear from the Office of Registrar of Company rejecting suggestions of not doing enough to check activities of middlemen at its premises, popularly known as Goro Boys. The business news on Newsnight is brought to you by MTN Business. Welcome to the new world of business, Alliance Life and Ghana Pay. Back to business on Newsnight. The Ghana cedi is projected to be fairly stable this week. Now, this coming after the Bank of Ghana announced its intention to go ahead with its program of supporting the bulk oil distribution firms with the needed dollars to aid fuel imports. There is more in this report.
The Ghana cedi some 2 weeks ago came under pressure against the US dollar. Some market analysts linked the challenge to the uncertainty about the dollar auction program, which saw the Bank of Ghana auction dollars to the bulk oil distribution firms to aid imports of finished petroleum products. This saw demand for dollars pick up strongly on the market, a development that resulted in some depreciation in July, despite the strong recovery in June this year. However, some bank treasurers and financial market players that Joy Business has engaged are of the view that they expect things to be fairly stable this week due to this development. Prices of petroleum products are expected to also benefit from this action by the Bank of Ghana in the next pricing window, as prices could be kept unchanged.
And that is a business tech report. Meanwhile, the bulk oil distribution firms say the move should impact positively on prices of petroleum products. Dr. Patrick Okofor is Chief Executive of the Chamber of Bulk Oil Distribution Companies.
The impact of this move by Bank of Ghana on supply of products will be immense. It gives confidence to our international trading partners who supply most of these products to us, that at least the issue about FX liquidity will not be an issue, and that it can also help them to plan and structure an arrangement whereby they know that on every monthly basis or on a 2-week period of the various trading windows, how much dollars they can access to also offset or draw down whatever arrangement that they have with the BDC. So clearly, it's a clear demonstration of interest in ensuring that product security is never in doubt, and then also forex availability is also not in question.
Dr. Patrick Okofor is Chief Executive of the Chamber of Bulk Oil Distribution Companies. The Office of the Registrar of Companies has rejected suggestions of not doing enough to check the activities of middlemen at its premises, popularly known as Goro Boys. The activity of these middlemen made transactions at the premises of the Registrar of Companies a little bit cumbersome, with these Goro Boys charging prospective clients an arm and a leg for registering their business. Madam Jimamo Wari is Registrar of Companies.
We arrest them. We get the police sometimes coming to arrest them. We get our own security sometimes driving them. But somehow, I think it's the economic situation. They will find their own level and they'll be there. If you go outside, we've even put stones and rocks where they used to sit to write. They will still perch on those rocks and write. You find them in corners you shouldn't even find them, behind cars, on cars. But I will still come out and say that my clientele do not go through that route, because you end up being ripped off. And money is very hard to come by these days. It costs just 100 Ghana cedis, 100 to register a business name, and yet you are prepared to give out 500, 600, 700. And when you ask, I say, I didn't even know that it was, because first of all, they won't even read. The fees and all, we put it on our front, on our billboard, it's there. That is why I'm doing everything within my power to get the system sorted out.
Registrar of Companies, Madam Jimaya Mowari. Now, State Pension Trust SSNIT has justified this investment policy, insisting that it has taken measures to review the non-performing assets. The trust has come under some scrutiny in recent times over how it has invested monies collected from contributors. But its Director General, that is Dr. John Foyetunkwant, says it has taken measures to deal with these concerns going forward.
So SSNIT also would have investments. Some of them may not be doing as well. The question is, what is the level of the impairment or the non-performing investments, okay? Because we are a public institution, we have to have full disclosure. And so the full disclosure comes out, whether it comes out in an Auditor General report or whatever, and then people get to pick it apart.
Yes.
So that's something we have to deal with.
Yeah.
But the point I'm making is that every investment may have some that go bad. Yes, SSNIT is not immune to that. That notwithstanding, SSNIT has never defaulted on its obligations. And so, SSNIT, that should not be the reason why somebody says, I am not going to take advantage of this great income replacement scheme.
Dr. John Foyetunkwant is Director General of the State Pension Trust SSNIT. Now, Car Bank has reaffirmed its commitment to protecting the assets of consumers and staff as well of the bank. Now, the move was to ensure business continuity and safety practices at the workplace that was held at the Derby. Now, the move was one to ensure that there's business continuity held, and actually took some steps to ensure that its branch at Derby Avenue is in safe place. The head of risk management of Car Bank, Sadiq Atta, has been speaking to Joy Business.
In such situations, and as I said, the essence of this exercise is one, to protect lives and property, and that's essential. And our customers are key stakeholders. We want to ensure that in such a situation, we are able to ensure that all our customers are safe, and then also their interest in the bank is safe.
And that is the head of risk management at Car Bank, Sadiq Arthur, speaking to Joy Business after the bank conducted a mock fire drill at its branch at the Derby Avenue to test its readiness of its staff to ensure consumer satisfaction. And that's all for business on Newsnight. Back to you, Evans.
George, thank you very much. It's still live here on Newsnight. It's on Joy 99.7 FM. And I'll be sharing with you your views on our WhatsApp console pretty shortly, 055-1111-997. Now, if you are one of those affected by the perennial flooding of the Wager section of the Accra Takoradi Highway, then you have to brace yourself to endure the problem a while longer. As the South Municipal Assembly says, it does not have the capability to fix it. The Assembly says it needs the assistance of other state agencies, which is not forthcoming just yet. Anytime it rains, parts of the major highway which links Cape Coast, Takoradi and neighboring Côte d'Ivoire become impassable, as it is covered with rainwater and sand washed down from the hills in the area. Maxwell Abagba has the latest in our Floods of Trauma series.
It is just minutes after torrential rains here in the Greater Accra region. The usual chaotic scene is back on the Wager Atala section in the area close to the toll booth on the Accra Takoradi Highway. Parts of the road is flooded again. Here, I've met a truck driver, Issa Halidu. He slept in his car overnight after his truck got stuck in the silt on the road.
After 30 minutes, yes, can happen. Remove all these things.
The issue is a big one, but as I'm saying, since we cannot focus on everything.
I have now met a concerned resident, Nana Kwesi Jana Pentin. He's always on the edge anytime he's not at home and there are signs of rain. He's befuddled how a major road like the Accra Takoradi Highway will be left to get flooded anytime it rains without any intervention from city authorities.
That experiences people go through here. are just horrid. What people probably don't realize is that this is not just a local issue, a local problem. This road that we are talking about serves as the entry point to Central Region, of course, to the Western Region, to Western North, and of course to Côte d'Ivoire and beyond. And a lot of the economic wealth of this country passes through here to Takoradi Harbour and all those places. But also remember tourism. We've made the Central Region for now the hub of our tourist industry, especially because of the castles and all that. And you do that and still people can't have access and go there. Go to a point where this year, if we don't do anything about it, there will be a complete cut-off.
Nana is not the only person concerned about the situation. Stephen Odum's pharmacy is very close to the highway and says the flooding of the area is an age-old problem.
Sometimes the rain even gets to the pharmacy, which is very terrible. Been here for about 13 years and the problem was there since. When it's getting to that time, we have to be prepared. We have to really get prepared. Otherwise, so we have to make sure that our staffs are on tables and stuff like that.
Until the Gusau Municipal Assembly and other state agencies take steps to deal with the perennial problem, commuters who use the stretch will continue to spend endless hours in traffic anytime it rains.
Well, Maxwell Ababa filed that report, and Maxwell, you have been chasing down the Gusau Assembly, trying to get some answers. What did you establish?
Well, we established that the enormity of the problem has made it very difficult for them to deal with it. In fact, they tell us that led to the establishment of a committee made up of different, state agencies, and that committee actually came up with recommendations on how to deal with the problem. But it looks like that recommendation they came up with is still on the shelves, yet to be implemented. The municipal roads engineer has been telling me that they do not have the capability to fix the challenge.
The toll booth area where the sand comes to the road anytime it rains, per our assessment, which we did as a municipality and as an assembly, we realized that the hill over there has been taken off, the vegetation has been taken off, and because anytime it rains, the downpour from the top of the hill washes the sand and put it on the road. Difficulties to the traveling public, and material was taken from there to construct certain roads in certain parts of Accra, and after that, we need to reinstate, what was taken away by way of having the vegetation to come on. Today, as I'm talking to you right now, the issue is like the municipal assembly has given permit for people to build over there. There's no build when you go up there. You saw there's some building down there, but those ones, there's none of them that can say that they have permit to build over there. They are all living there, illegally. I remember the last time the road minister came here, we went up there to have a look at the situation, and a committee was formed to, bring solution to this. A report was given. After today, we are just waiting. If we are now about to implement the report, we'll be waiting. But nothing has been done. And anytime it rains, the blame put at the doorstep of assembly, which the assembly doesn't have a hand in whatever is happening over there. We have spent several, monies to get those works done and to clear those activities from. But you realize that the situation is so big that it goes beyond the assembly. The assembly doesn't have the resources to get those works done. We have fallen on some of these agencies to come and help us solve those problems. So basically, that is what the problem is. I mean, together we are saying that we should come together and solve this problem once and for all. This is not a problem that is bigger than us. We can solve it.
So they don't have the capacity to do it.
Yeah.
They seem to suggest that the Highways Authority or the Roads Ministry that had been there before a committee had been formed should take the lead in doing this.
Exactly. And they say that one of the solutions to the problem is to grass the place, because as it stands now, the vegetative cover has been removed by people who have put up their structures there. So anytime it rains, the silt up there just run down onto the road. They say if it is grassed, then the grass will soak up the water and then prevent the flooding of the road.
I see. Let's bring in the Highways Authority. Speaking for them is the Cecil Obodai-Wontum. He's a public relations officer. Joins us on the line right now. Cecil, thanks for your time here on Newsnight.
Yes.
Grateful to have you. Has this particular challenge come to the attention of the Ghana Highways Authority?
Thank you very much, Evans. I have been listening to you since Maxwell called about this very issue. I remember many years ago, before I joined Ghana Highway Authority to head the public affairs section, I've had the opportunity of following the Honorable Minister to that particular corridor, and I am very much aware of the problem there. It has been enumerated in Maxwell's reportage, and it's something that I think we must all accept and finally come to a conclusion that there is something that has to be done. And what has to be done is the fact that we as an authority has a jurisdiction, and our jurisdiction is to provide the road, to maintain the road, and then provide the necessary accessories that go with the road. After we have done all of this, and there is a problem, of course, we will come in as far as maintenance is concerned. But there are some activities that are also affecting the state of the road, and it is what Maxwell has enumerated in his reportage. Look, whether you like it or not, take that corridor and that particular section that I am talking about. I used that place not too long ago, about 2 weeks ago, and I got there and I went through the same problem. Evans, the thing is that there are human beings who have deliberately closed their eyes to nature and abusing every opportunity they get, either to engage in some construction activities or do some other things up the hill. And just as Maxwell said in his reportage, there are construction activities.
Yeah, but the assembly says that's really not the challenge, because they have supervised that and they've made sure that that problem has been dealt with, that the roads ministry came there, a committee was formed. Now it's about solutions. I mean, the highway you have responsibility for, but that highway is affected. I wonder, what is the solution from the Ghana Highways Authority's point of view, and what is it that you're committing to do about this?
I can hardly hear you, Evans.
From the Ghana Highways Authority's point of view,
yes.
what is the solution that you are pursuing as far as this particular...
You know, what we have always done, not too long ago, I'm sure you agree with me, our MMU division, we have a mobile maintenance unit division of the Ghana Highway Authority, and from time to time, anytime the rainy season starts, they move in and then they either do some maintenance work. And I know just within that section that you have talked about, from the toll booth area all the way to Atala, they have done some works. But the rains are still, and you see, Evans, the thing is that you'll be surprised. On that particular stretch from the toll booth all the way to Atala, there are storm drains. You will be surprised. If I stand with you in any of those storm drains, nobody sees us. But as it stands now, the rains are in, and all those storm drains are filled.
And that then will affect the quality of the
debris from the top of the mountain.
Well, so that will affect the quality of the road that you spend money to maintain.
But you see, the point is that.
So I guess my question is,
I think we must work collaboratively.
Yeah, are you getting
what we can do? Look,
are you getting Are you getting that collaboration to fix the problem? Because everybody else is complaining about it. But let's talk about solutions. Is the Ghana Highway Authority leading a conversation that will resolve the challenge permanently?
So, Evans, what I'm saying is that I didn't hear what you said. But
are you leading a conversation that will resolve this problem permanently?
No, the conversation is that we must stop human beings from the activities they are undertaking on top of the hill.
Okay, Cecil, thank you very much. And Cecil Obodai-Wuntum is the Public Relations Officer of the Ghana Highways Authority. Let's do sports now, and Daniel Cranting is here with the very latest. Hello, Daniel.
Hi, Evans. The sports news is brought to you by Pepsodent Herbal and Charcoal. Pepsodent, every smile matters. Now, the president of the Ghana Football Association, Keto Kriku, has called on members of the football fraternity to stop dividing the country's football governing body among political lines and work together towards a common goal of developing the sport. Okriku made a rallying call at the 29th Ordinary Congress in Kumasi earlier today. According to him, tagging individuals with certain political affiliations will not aid in solving Ghana's football decline.
The solution to our football problems is not to defame people. The solution to our football problems is to show respect to club owners like your good selves, because you deserve the truth. The solution to our football problems is not to forge documents to mislead the public. The solution to our football problems is not to go over to my brothers here from members of parliament with lies. The solution to our football problems is not about NDC and MPP, because football goes beyond political affiliations. If you are interested in leading football, speak football. Our club owners and CEOs here know what football is about. And I know you know what your needs are. You deserve respect. You do not deserve lies. You do not deserve false propaganda. They want to hear the problems of football, how football can be made better, and how we can collectively earn from our investments.
You heard the GFA president, Keto Kriku, speaking there.
Well, tell me, which school did you attend?
Achimota School.
Oh, Achimota. Okay. Yeah. I mean, how have you been performing in the regional championship?
Achimota School is number one everywhere we go.
I didn't ask you to give me a general statement.
Achimota School is number one everywhere we go.
I didn't ask you to give me a general statement.
Achimota
You don't have a
School is number
specific
one
statement on this.
everywhere we go.
Oh, that's why this is obvious, because Daddy has on top of the region again, and that's why the man is being very evasive on the subject. But I want to take you to the central region, where Decidal Colleges launched a fierce campaign to defend their NSMQ Goyle Regional Championship title, overpowering university practice in the resounding victory during the semi-finals. In the upcoming finals, they will face formidable opponents, including Agri Memorial, Infantipim School, and St. Augustine's College. Confident Santa Clausians expressed their determination to emerge victorious in intense central regional showdown.
I'm a mater of great men, Santa Clausians. Hey, Adisco, great Adisco, we shall never be beaten. We shall always bear.
In real life, if you know what you are doing, you don't scared. You know, we are never scared of anybody, because on a first basis, they thought they were leading. It was just a prelims, but currently we are on top.
Okay, so tomorrow, right? You are meeting Infantipim, also one of the biggest schools in the region.
Let me tell you one thing. Infantipim is one of the girls' schools in Central region.
Tell them.
They don't throw pressure for us.
Never be
We don't see them. Infantipim is never.
On the LGBTQ debate in Parliament. Sam Banama in the US says the land issue in Goma, Futu, in the central region, especially in the Millennium City area, is very bad. You acquired pieces of land and paid for, and you can't own it and let's say developed it, because all these land disputes among these chiefs, one hand, and estate developers on the other hand, makes it pretty dangerous. Explanation given by the communications director, and this is on Kofi Sedu, says the explanation given by the communications director of the Ghana Gas Company is very untidy. A few of your views there, and that's it for News Night. Tonight up next is That's My Opinion with Nana Ansako, and he's talking about something pretty interesting. Ghana in spite of. Well, listen to him.